Hey everyone, it's Val the Voice Johnson. Wait a minute. I'm not Coach. You know, sports is his domain. That's not me. But it is the Pull Up Podcast Show, and I serve as the host as well as what? That's right, the producer. That's me. And of course, we're excited to welcome you to another exciting edition of the Pull Up Podcast Show. And of course, Coach is pulling up and doing, what is he doing? He's coaching. That's what he does. He does that best, but he should be here in a little while. But we are excited. We are so excited to have a phenomenal guest coming at you. But of course, before I get into that, I got to do the intro. As Coach would say, drop it.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's Val the Voice Johnson, and of course it is the Pull Up Podcast Show. You know, oh my goodness. And of course, we got to make sure that I got to do this first. It's like a basketball game here. It truly is. But of course, we're excited to have you guys join us. And of course, let us know in the chat what you all think and what's been going on with you guys. And of course, you know what? I got a chance to do a lot of research on today's guest. And of course, Tony was so excited to have him come. Oh my gosh, his coaching career spans two decades. And then on top of that, right now, he is the technical director for the NBA basketball school in Dubai. I mean, I've dreamed of Dubai. I don't know about anybody else. I've dreamed of going to Dubai and seeing how the culture is, but I've checked out his videos and they have been so much fun. And of course, he is also a podcaster, a motivational speaker, a dad, and just a phenomenal person. I totally get why Coach decided to have this wonderful gentleman on. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Hernando Planells. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Listen, with that introduction, we are going to go on the road. We are going to showcase, and we're just going to impact masses, starting with your voice, just screaming over the loudspeakers, talking about what we're going to do.
Oh my gosh, this was such a wonderful treat. I love when Coach brings very talented, and I call it diverse in talent. This is the thing. When you are a coach and you are looked to for leadership in, I call it any space. For me, it's seeing how you are in spaces with children and as well as, of course, the adults. Man, oh man, I'm excited, but let me do this first. I saw a commercial you were a part of, Hernando. This was I was like, okay. Tell me a little bit about the commercial we're about to show that you were featured in.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's for the NFL Network, and on YouTube. They, of course, had this campaign to get people to sign up for the NFL Network, and I just happened to also be part of a production company called Game Changing Films, and they put me into auditioned, and they're like, "We're gonna hire Hernando," and I said, "Really?" I said, "All right, let's go." So I sat with two great, Laurel Sussman, who's a Canadian soccer national team player, former, and just super talented woman in her own right, and Pat O'Hara, a former NFL quarterback, former NFL coach, with it. So I was just happy to be part of the crew.
Well, I got a chance to check it out, and I was like, oh my goodness, this would be so much fun to show our listeners and watchers on this evening. So let me go ahead and oblige you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Coach H doing an open house crash. You guys check it on out. Here we go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the house. 3 bathrooms, open concept. This right here is the entertainment room. Take a seat. I really want you guys to get the feel of the room. The owner is such a big NFL fan. So how about we have some popcorn here, right? Okay. Check it out. TV goes up.
Oh, that's kind of dope.
Yeah,
though.
pretty sweet, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Holy bro.
What the?
Yo, stay right there. Stay right there. I don't know what's going on.
Hit it. Go. The NFL season is back. Well, let me tell you something. If she was a quarterback, she'd be running for her life, Lawrence. I want to see a replay on this.
I agree.
Let's analyze this. It's the agility and speed, which is so impressive here. Defending his friend, unbelievable. Watch his reaction. The popcorn flying. I just don't know. He was ready for this. Are you protecting him right now? I need to use the restroom.
They thought this was going to be a lazy Sunday, but they did not see it coming. It is NFL Sunday, baby.
Okay, it's time for the big guns.
You're up.
You guys look like you love football.
Sunday football. We have someone that knows a lot more about football than all of us. This is his house.
Yeah.
Surprise! Oh, Shannon, what's up? Wasn't that exciting?
Shay, oh my God.
NFL football is back.
What's up? What's going on, Shannon?
Guess what? Courtesy of our good friends at YouTube TV, we're going to gift you NFL Sunday ticket.
No way!
My man. Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm sitting here watching this going, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was great.
And-
The faces, especially the face we go flying through, was priceless. It was a great time.
Oh my gosh. Because I'm sitting here thinking, I said, when you're asked to be a part of something like that, it I don't know, it just raises kind of your profile, and you could just say, hey, I was in the commercial with Shannon Sharp, and I did this for the NFL, and you're in basketball. That's your lane. But of course, Hernando, here's my question, and this is what we ask all of our folks that come and visit us here at the Pull Up Podcast Show. How did you get started? And like, what was your love for basketball when you were growing up? Like, who was your favorite player back in the day? That's the question right there.
Yeah, so I grew up in Los Angeles. So, of course, I grew up on the Lakers. Then I eventually became a Clippers fan because I just love the underdogs before and everything else. And I didn't come from a family that played a lot of sports, but I just, it's hard to say. I think when you get older, you have a better understanding what a love for a sport is. When you're younger, you're like, you're just playing stuff. You're playing outside, you're just hanging out and everything else. And I just kind of gravitate. I played all the different sports. I wasn't any good at a lot of them, but I just played all the different sports. And basketball was something that I just really loved. And I really got into coaching because I think back then I just really liked to tell people what to do. And then at the time, you just realize like there's a lot more to coaching than just that. There's passion, there's love, there's togetherness and all that stuff. And as I've gotten older, really the passion is more like leadership. It's more like empowering. It's more connecting. And how do you build those things in anything that I'm blessed to do?
Yeah, and in LA, it's that I feel like they pit people against each other. You're either a Clippers or you're either a Lakers fan, just like I think here with our baseball teams in Chicago. I'm from Chicago, so it's either you got to be a Sox fan or you have to be a Cubs fan. And if you're not that, then there's something wrong with you. But I take it like this. One of the things that I've noticed about coaching is that it's a matter of having folks believe in your voice. How do you inspire? What do you know that inspires others to follow your voice and when you coach?
Well, I think it's having a respect for whoever the player is. And it really doesn't matter the age. When I mean respect is getting to be at their level and then showing them, caring for them where you see their future selves. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I think coaching has been kind of misconstrued. It's more like coaching is now, it's like, it's about winning and losing. It's about, who's going to be on TV, who's not going to be on TV. But how do you get someone to be inspired to do great things? And you're not going to touch everyone's heart and soul, but you are going to be able to really deep down and make an impact on them. And really, what kind of impact do you make? Coaching is hard, as you know, leadership is hard, connecting is hard, but how can you connect at their level where they could really put their hope and trust with you? Because hope and trust are the two things that we thrive on as individuals. And if you can't break that wall, it just becomes tougher.
Yeah, and some of the coaching that you've done in your past here, I went to the archives. You coached for Duke, the girls. And how long did you do that? And what was some of your major takeaways for working with a girls basketball team?
Yeah, so Duke was my first girls basketball coach experience. I was a men's coach before that, and I got hired at Duke. And really, it was it's like baptism by fire, right? You just go in, you don't know what you're getting. I always joke around. I was coaching men's basketball. I was yelling at my players who were like 6'10". When I got to women's basketball, I still was yelling up because on a good day I'm 5'11", but now I'm yelling at my players at like 6'2", 6'3". So it doesn't matter what level, they're just all taller than me. That's all I knew. But one thing I loved is just how coachable. I know a lot of people say coachable, but really there was a sense, if I took one of my players at Duke and at Duke, I was blessed to have 11 or 12 WNBA players from that group. And when you sit there and you break down video or you give them something or a word of encouragement, the amount of gratitude, the amount of care really, really shows. Like with guys, it's like, all right, cool, coach, thanks, coach. And they just walk out with it. But women players like, coach, thanks so much, blah, blah, blah. And being a dad of a daughter as well, too, for me helped because you understand that concept of a daughter and parent relationship and how you really are shaping their heart and mind.
Yeah. And I think with girls, I feel like, and coach tells me this all the time because he is a coach for a women's team in Nashville. I think some of the challenges might be is that for women, for myself, I played basketball for a very short time in grammar school, is sometimes we feel as women, it's just for men or I won't be able to achieve all the great things that men have achieved in the sport. And I don't know if you had to just be like, no, you can do anything. And
Right.
has there ever been that challenge, if you've noticed the difference between men and women coaching? Like, do the negative Nancys show up with the women as well as the negative Nelsons?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the biggest difference on that aspect, people love using the word confidence, but it's not confidence. It's the word courage is the word I would use. Because I think by nature, women are seeking perfection, right? They're seeking on how is it going to look like that I've got to make every shot. So for that, I think it becomes a more internal battle. Guys are like, all right, I missed whatever. I took a shot. Girls like, oh my gosh, I missed a shot. Oh, that's not my shot. That's not me. And it's more like, how do you get the courage out of them to keep going, and the courage to step into their greatness? And that's the big part that I saw more than anything else with it. It's continuing to say, hey, it's take the courage, like just waking up in the morning and coming to practice. That's courage, right? It's noticing those things. We just did a camp in Paris. The NBA was in Paris. Spurs versus the Pacers. I was blessed to be a part of that. And Chris Oliver is a coach from Canada. Great coach. Has his own company, basketball company, consulting. And he talked about like the ends, right? Normalizing misses, normalizing frustration, but then the other end is noticing things. So I think when it comes to coaching and women in particular, noticing all the things that they're doing, and no feat is too small, right? No thing, everything. We're celebrating the heck out of everything every single time.
Oh my goodness. I have to say, and what I want to make sure that we do when we come back is talk about your time now with the NBA basketball school. For some reason, I didn't think there was a basketball school, but now I'm looking and I'm going, oh, it's a basketball school. So this is something that I need to educate myself on. And of course, I'd love to talk to you. Of course, Coach will probably be here at that point to talk about the legacy of two players from Los Angeles Lakers that made a major impact. It's the Pull Up Podcast Show. We'll be right back after these messages.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
We're back with the Pull Up Podcast Show, and this is Val, the Voice Johnson. You're a producer and host, and of course, I'll ask you guys if you have any questions for Coach H. Let us know in the room chat, and I definitely want to say hello to who's here, and shout out to Johnny Pratt. Good to see you. Coach is here. He's coming. He's on his way, and I see Mark Lee, who has featured us on a couple of channels. Thank you so very much, Mark. We appreciate you. And of course, the love from the Brown Sugar Cafe. I saw you. He was really fascinated, Hernando, about your commercial. We were really enjoying that. just kind of the bust through with that. But oh my goodness. So let's talk the NBA basketball school in Dubai. I am trying to figure out what is the routine like there, and what has been some of the most wonderful highlights that you've had in your life working with, I'm assuming, the kids there, and what's the ages of the kids that you work with there?
Yeah, it really came out of the blue, the NBA basketball school. I had stopped coaching. My last coaching job was at the University of Illinois, and about 4 years ago. And I wanted to spend more time with my kids. My son's 24. His name's Preston. He actually coaches women's basketball at New Mexico State. And my daughter is in her last semester of college. And so I wanted to spend more time with them. And I was just, as I mentioned, I work in production as well, too. I was finishing a show that will be on Netflix in about a couple months with Kate Hudson. But I was get a phone call and from the NBA saying, hey, would I be interested in a technical director job? I don't even know what that meant. I was like, sure, why not? Let's jump in. And then they called me a week later and said it was Dubai. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm really, really interested. And so, went through the whole process and got approved. And late August, I got to Dubai, where the temperature is like 100 and maybe 115 degrees. But the NBA basketball school, there's about 15 to 18. It's growing. And for some, they just run camps, they just run clinics. For us, we're a full-on program. We have over 450 athletes, ages 7 to 19. I oversee 15 coaches from 7 different countries. And Dubai is there. It's 85% expats. So you have people from all over the country. No, all over the world. Excuse me.
Wow.
The mission is to empower the athletes It's for them to help them be, leaders in their community. And of course, everyone wants to play basketball and be better and everything else. But, we're part of the whole grassroots level for the NBA to really spread the good word of the NBA. And two of our biggest sponsors are in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And so we have made a huge presence there and everything else.
And I see Coach is here with us. Welcome.
What's up, hey, we're doing our usual, man. Coming out the road, tough ball game tonight, man. Tough ball game on the road. So had to get the team back, got fired up, dropped a hard one tonight, didn't like it. So I don't have to tell you, you already know how that go.
Yeah. You are a brave man to continue to take on the wins and losses of coaching basketball.
Man, I think, hey, Coach, I think the kids don't get that. I tell them all the time. When you take an L, I take the same L. My L is no bigger than yours. We all take the same L together. If I got a coach that's not here or a player that's sick, that coach that's not here and the player that's sick, they took the same L and they didn't even show up.
Yeah. I saw Dana Altman, the head coach at Oregon. He had this great video he talked about, right? He said, was it sometimes it's you, sometimes it's me, but it's always about us, right? It's always about us. And it's so true with coaching. I think, the way coaching is, I think they would talk about coaching today. I think coaching has always been like that. There's different challenges over the course of time, different challenges of leadership. And now it just comes down to how we work through it and everything else. But no, you're right, man. You take it and you'll probably, maybe you'll sleep a little, maybe you won't, but you just keep going.
Exactly. And why do you think, Nando? I tell kids all the time, speaking of the carousel of coaches, why do you think they have a phrase called "you can't Bobby Knight a kid"?
That's right. Yeah.
So Bobby was the last one of that general, that trooper, and all that involvement. I know you guys caught up, and I appreciate it. Me and Coach, we go back for quite some time. And he coached the Duke. He coached our beloved Illini downstate in Shambana, baby. So he's been around the block for some time. I love him. He's an LA boy. Did all that. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know, Val, his daughter plays basketball. Son's a big swimmer. So,
I got caught up. I was letting Hernando know that I did a deep dive on his IG and a few other places. And I love his personality. I've listened to a couple of the podcasts because he does the same thing that we do, which is always wonderful. But of course, I got a chance to talk with him about coaching, the difference between men and women, and he was kind of letting me know and breaking that down for myself. But we were just getting now caught up. You know what? He says he was a Lakers fan and a Clippers fan. I don't know how he made it in Los Angeles. He didn't get run over or something. I don't know.
You said the magic word. He was in LA. If that was New York, the Knicks and Mets, or in Chicago with us and the Cubs, no way. He couldn't. Nando, he couldn't get on. He couldn't get on the L. He couldn't get on the subway at all.
No. The only thing is, when I was in North Carolina, when I went to go coach with the Celtics and their G League team, my license plate had like the back-to-back NBA championship. But before I drove up there, I made sure I unscrewed all the little different pieces, took that license plate out of it, so no one saw what I had.
Especially in Boston.
Yeah.
Oh, those guys are crazy. Those guys are. I lived in New York. I lived in New York for two decades, and I went to a Yankees game, and I was yelling for the Sox, and they were like, "Oh, you mean Boston?" I'm like, "No, white."
Exactly. Just to show you how Coach was inspiring to me. We've been connected for a while, so we kind of started the same way. I had the grassroots doing some things, and I was on the men's side of the house. And I remember switching over, and as Coach H and I kind of got connected together years ago, I was like, hey, you're making the moves, trying to do this and that. I had my son, Tony, trying to figure out, okay, how can I coach him? Because without having to give him up and give him away to somebody, when I know if I'm going to make him do bad, I'm going to bring him through my own, training. And he was like, you ever tried to coach with the women? I go, nah. So he said, you jump on the women's side of the house, then the NCAA really don't care because they can't cross lines of recruiting. And I did that, and I had another buddy of mine up in Indianapolis. I made the move over in 2009, 2010 at Fisk. in 15 years with the women now, about 7, 8 on the men starting out. And now I lucked up, and what happened? Fall back to an all-Catholic girls' school, and that's where I'm at right now, coaching last 2 seasons. So it's been plentiful.
Man, and still making an impact no matter what. Huge impact. Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
You know, that's just how to be the key. You know, you talk a lot about one thing that I was trying to stress that you kind of gave me years ago. Hey, go do clinics, go meet people, go stay in touch with people. That's how you get. And I try to tell people, I even told my daughter, Coach, I said, hey, you know, you're going to need connections. I don't need no connections. Okay, you'll see. You'll see. You just keep on going. You think you don't need them now, but down the road, you'll see. I said, I know the wealthiest of the wealthiest, and they still need connections. You know what I mean? So you just got to make it timing. But the one thing I do like, I talked about this tonight. It's funny. One of your words in the locker room, I said, you know, I've got to know you guys on a personal level. And it's not so much about me coaching you as in you learning from me and what I'm doing on a daily basis. And then we got to be able to come out. I said, I want you to think about one thing for me as a player sitting in this locker room. This is my classroom. No different than at 8 o'clock this morning, you sat in the science class or the history class or the English class or whatever. This is my classroom. So whatever you can bring to the forefront to the table, that's what we got to do. So it's kind of interesting. So the one thing I want to talk to you about is like, because you got to get an opportunity to go back and forth. You get an opportunity to get the women, got the opportunity to go to the men and whatnot. Right now, we live in this world of NIL. And not so much once you get up to the NBA, you know, the basketball league that you got, and you're working out with that. But what's the difference that you're seeing right now with these young players as they're making their way up through the ranks?
Yeah, I mean, NIL is a big thing, and I think a lot of parents and kids believe they are NIL material. But as I always say, really, the market dictates your worth, and no one wants to hear that. You know, there's a lot of people like, no, I go for what my worth is, and I know what I'm worth is. I get that. I respect that. I understand that. But the market dictates how much you will get paid. It will dictate how hot you are in terms of you want to get hot, you know, and it's like that in any way. And once we accept that, when I say accept that, it's not like giving fine, this is my worth. No, it's more like I got to get in somewhere. So anyways, there's this big NIL. I think coaches are going to continue to have to adjust. I mean, we are in a level where we're in pro basketball, you know, and in high school, it's like that. I don't know how it is where you are, but I know in California, there's so many transfers, you know, and they're always going somewhere. But I think the thing is, like, it's the communication part. In high school, you could still get kids to stay if you constantly communicate with your kids. In college, now it's like you communicate, but they're going to come to your office and say, hey, coach, I love you. I love what we're doing, but I need to get paid. I need to take a look at what's my worth, and I'm going to put my name out there. And so, do I blame people? No. I mean, it's easy, but like, well, you know, society. But the reality is every athlete over the course of their career have always wanted to get paid. Women's basketball, WNBA. You know, now there's all these different leagues. You talk about how the NBA has paid different, the NFL contracts. Like this is it's a natural progression. The thing that comes into it, romanticism on what sports was. And it's always changing. It's always adjusting. If we adjust with it, then we have a chance. But it does mean more people are entitled more than ever. It does mean people, you know, would seem like they're not as grateful. But what are we going to do? Complain about it? Or do we try to make moves to understand it and be better because of it?
Yeah, and I think that's where Coach, that's where the NCAA is struggling. That's piece that you said, because even though they only wanted 5% originally, and Val and I've educated Val on this NIL stuff. We've done so many shows to get things up, and she's finally trying to learn that piece. But I think that's where the NCAA has a very big problem, because they opened this Pandora's box, and then when they lost those 2 major lawsuits to Tennessee and West Virginia, and then that Sherman antitrust took off, and then they said, okay, you know something? So they tried to fire back by saying, okay, starting this year, we're going to give you unlimited transfers. And oh, by the way, The universities, you deal with them because we're not going to deal with it. Then they passed another rule that starts next year down where I'm at right now, Coach. And now that's on the JUCO level. And now the JUCO don't count against the NCAA 4-year school anymore. So you're going to literally, in my personal opinion, in the next few years, you're going to have 27, 28, 29, 30-year-old kids still in college trying to play ball.
I mean, so think about this for a second. Now, this is probably a few years down the road. But let's say, Tony, you are great. I mean, you are still a great athlete, but you are even a marquee athlete, and the school is giving you $500,000 a year for NIL. Okay, you make $500,000. All right, and now after your years of eligibility are up, now what will stop you from suing the NCAA and saying, "Wait a second, you are stopping me from making money for my family," which is illegal. Now, there's some employee laws. There's all these everything going, but we're going away where these student athletes will become employees. But now you're saying, so why should there be a cap on my years of eligibility? Why are you going to do that? So now you may end up having, like you said, 28, 29, 30, but now they're in college. I'm going to put that in quotations. I hate air quotes. I'm just saying they're in college for like 8 to 10 to 12, 14 years.
Yes.
Getting a master's, making money, because from a legality standpoint, we could get there.
Yep. I tell you, and I got another question on the other side when we come back. It's going to be a part of that. But, man, welcome, my guy, my soul, Coach Hernando Planells, I'm sorry. Got caught up here. Coach Tony on the Pull Up Podcast Show with my girl, Val the Voice. We're going to take a quick halftime commercial. I got to go ahead and talk to my team because I can't lose this game. Val, pay some bills. We'll be right back.
I've always thought about how my mom has supported me in any creative endeavor. How beautiful was it for your mom to be the superhero in your life and show up in your creative ventures with this book?
People ask her to sign the book more than they ask me to sign the book. Sometimes I step to the side, I take their picture. And, we have to celebrate our mothers. We got to celebrate our beginning. So she comes out with me. Every event, she is there. Even when I tell her she does not need to come, she will show up in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh, okay, you coming? Okay. I'm like, all right.
And she got a bottle of wine in her hand.
What in the world? Why are you giving her alcohol?
No, I'm just saying. She showed up in the parking lot. She got a bottle of wine, nice wine. She's going to set it down. She ready for the show, Val. You know what I'm saying? Because the funny part about it is, CJ, I've actually talked to Val. I thought about, writing a book myself called My Man's in Them. But,
I love it.
And look at Val.
My man's in them.
My man's in them. But you got to read the book. You got to read the book. But it's a play. CJ, I apologize because Val should have dropped some old Dub C so you could have came out crip walking. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not flamed up right now. I got to hold on. Trying to get me shot.
Going back to school tomorrow, like I saw you, Miss Charles. I saw you.
I mean, I can crip walk, so please, but I'm kind of, authoring right now. You guys are funny.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show. Your boy, the one and only Coach Tony, my guy, Coach Hernando Planells. Man, welcome back. So let's get back to that question, because this is perfect. Mark had made some comment. That's my guy down in Carolina. Speaking of it, he was like, you talking about being the LA Clippers and Lakers, man. Like, do this. You can't do that on Tobacco Road, baby. We already know that. We already know that we can't do that. But when you look at it, Coach H, I was listening to something you were talking about. I thought was pretty funny. You say you got a chance to work with the G League guys, for example, and every G League guy automatically thinks that they're going to go to the G League for a half a second and they're going to end up in the NBA until they get down to the G League and start working. Take us through that process.
Hold on. Oh. I heard nothing.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Now you're there. You go.
Okay. Hey, welcome to that technology, I guess.
I know. It's crazy.
I was saying, you're dealing with the G League guys as you're doing with the NBA school and whatnot. Take us through that process of, I was listening to one of your comments. You were talking about how when you got down to the G League, start working with these guys, most of them think they're going to walk right to the G League, right out of G League, right to an NBA bench. And that's not going to happen. Kind of take us through that process with that whole situation.
Yeah, first of all, I think the G League is the toughest league to coach in, simply because, number one, everybody believes they're going to make the NBA. But number two, as a coach, we're talking about leadership, and you work hard and culture and all these things. And all that stuff is great until one day, on the morning of a game day, you get a phone call from a GM saying, hey, coach, I'm going to send a player down to you, and they have to play 35 minutes and have to start.
Wow.
And what do? You just tell a player, like, hey, you work hard, you blah, blah, blah. Then you go back. I'm like, hey, this is, the nature of what it is. And you have to frame it that way, right? Life has all these ups and downs, and you got to be ready, and you got to stay ready. All those coaching cliches we talk about. But it's those challenges. So when you're in the G League, guys come in, they're ready to go. They're playing hard for about a month. And then they realize they're maybe playing 5-10 minutes a game. And they're like, oh, well, now I'm not going to be able to make it. Now I got, how can I get to Europe? Or they just get into a low point because they're also in small town America that they really don't want to be in.
Correct.
So, they go from here, then down. And then usually around January, February, they just start playing up again and things like that. But no, it's tough from building a culture. So you really have to be tight. You really have to build strong personal relationships so that the player knows that you're there for them and you're going to do whatever it takes to help them get to a level where they need to go.
My guy, Coach Justin Allen, who works with me on the grassroots side, and said that, man, what's going on, Coach? I'm glad you can check in. He said, looking at this tonight, he's checking out the show tonight. He was talking to me earlier. Bring something near and dear to you. Val got some pictures. We off the anniversary of, unfortunately, the Kobe Bryant situation yesterday, 5 years. But then we off the back of a magnificent opportunity where my homeboy, which one of your best Laker players, and Michael Cooper just got his jersey retired. And talk about the balances of both of those players, especially while you were out in the Los Angeles area.
I lost you again, but I'm assuming that we're talking about Kobe and Cooper.
Yep.
First of all, let me just tell you this. Michael Cooper is one of my favorite NBA players ever, primarily because I couldn't play offense very well, so I had to play defense. Listen, Coop, I'm not saying you're a bad offensive player. I'm just saying they didn't see your greatness as an offensive player.
Right.
But the thing is, when you think of like 5 years and Kobe Bryant, we all remember where we were. I was in Virginia doing a TV show called Swagger. My son calls me and he's like, hey, Dad, did you see what happened to Kobe? I said, no, what happened to Kobe? And, went through the whole story and everything else. But, I think what happens at the impact that sports leaves in our lives, right? And so many things that Kobe's done in his life. There's all the debate, who is the GOAT? Is, Kobe, LeBron, Jordan, whatever else it is. But when you go beyond that, it's more the impact. I look at players, how they made an impact in the game of basketball. Michael Cooper made an impact because he was a lockdown defender that the Lakers needed to have. Kobe, impact player, because he was a guy who just came in, had the swagger about him. He was stone cold. He was going to go after you, and he was going to talk crap at you and everything else. And he was young and he had that mindset. So, it's taking a look at players who have changed the game, and those two definitely changed the game.
Yeah, but man, especially I go back and look at Coop more important than Kobe, Coach, because Coop got a chance to play with Showtime. And you remember back in the day, there was Showtime, baby. That was bright lights. Jack was on the sideline, chilling on the sideline in the stands. And Dr. Buss was putting together a team right before our eyes with Magic and the guys. And Magic was so magical in the things he was doing, 6'9" point guard, run everything. And you had a guy before Pippen got a chance to. I know everybody loved Pip, but there was a small little guy that was on the Lakers team by the name of James Worthy, who was a point forward. That they could put the ball in his hand, he could bring it down. But the Lakers was so loaded. Michael Thompson was on there, the older Michael Thompson, right? Klay Thompson's old man. You had everybody, AC Green. They forget about AC Green sometimes, Coach. He was the original Dennis Rodman,
Yep.
And then, of course, you got the average Pat Riley, who's now down in Miami and all that. How has you been in L.A., getting an opportunity to serve with the women and the men and putting that together, how has that been able to take you to greater heights and been able to still impact the game today?
Before I get on that, can we talk about how AC Green still today has the same exact hairstyle?
Yes. Oh,
he's got the
baby fro, curly fro. Hey, that was back in the time y'all was doing the Afro scene too,
Like he's still spraying it. I bet you he still has a lifetime supply. He's spraying the same stuff he used in the 80s. Here in 2025.
And what they say, Coach, in Coming to America, so close. Hey man, that's so glow, baby. That's amazing. AC.
No, I think when you coach men and women's basketball, I think when you just coach, you are making an impact in people's lives. And I wouldn't say coaching. We're natural coaches. Everything we're doing is that we have impact. We always have this message that we want to share with people. And I think probably the biggest thing when it came down to coaching just men and women, just coaching in general, is can I follow the coaching advice that I would give to others? Can I do that in my own personal life? And that's a big, hard thing for us to do as humans in general. Because as coaches, we're natural givers. So I want to give you the advice. I want to give you the words of wisdom. And so what I just noticed overall is that people want to be coached. Don't matter. They want to be coached, especially if you want to reach a high certain level. The highest players, they talk about how like these NBA players, oh, look, they don't want to be coached. They're disrespecting their coach. No, everybody wants to be coached because they know that if you want the best for them and you'll take the time with the players, then they're going to raise their levels. I had Chelsea Gray at Duke, and Chelsea Gray would sit down and watch a video with me.
Oh,
one of the greatest of all time. And she wanted to watch film, wanted to do all these different things. I had Rebecca Greenwell, who was drafted, but had many knee injuries. And she wanted, like, H, how can I get open? Where's their spots? All these different things, right? Everybody wants to be coached. And I don't know if I'm answering your question all the way, but I think at the end of the day, what are we giving to our players? And are we listening to them too? And how can we understand how they accept information?
Yeah, because I tell them all the time, Coach H, you're 100% right. I tell my guys all the time, hey, you on the floor, right? That's like me on the battlefield. You can give me the instructions from Washington, man, but you didn't just see I got shot at last night and I just lost 2 of my soldiers.
That's right.
Because I'm on the battlefield. That's funny. You talked about one thing that you needed to correct, which is the good and the bad about your coaching style. And it's some of the same things that my AD talked to me about, and I laugh. And that is delegating. Isn't that so hard? I remember you talked about that, about yourself when you was coaching with Coach Faye down at Illini, and then Coach P at Duke told you, man, Coach H, you got to delegate, baby. And my AD tells you, but it's so hard because as well as I know, Coach, if you're going to get it done, you want to do it yourself because then it's going to get done right.
Yeah.
But then to tell somebody to delegate and put it over here, and you over here trying to do it, but you're still kind of looking around the corner real quick just to make sure the job's get done.
No, by the way, big props to you for remembering that I said that, because that was a big part of I had the majority of my career. It's only now that I'm NBA basketball school, right? I've got 15 coaches, and I made it one of my missions to empower my coaches. And what I did, it was learning where they want to go in their career and how can I help them? How can I, just like a player, right? How can I facilitate for that. So in order to do that, then I need you to do this, 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 and this. And it started actually when I was the head coach at William Jessup by 2 great assistant coaches.
Yeah.
And
small deep one at NAIA school.
Yeah. And like just giving stuff to people, and then also having the trust. It's not that I didn't trust. It's just more like I trust myself because I'm controlling it more. And I think it was one of those things I learned over the course of time that, true control is when you let go, because now you're just controlling you and you could help them. So, there are a couple of times where my staff, do things that are different than I would, or they had wrong communication with the parents, or isn't quite following our culture, but it's because they're just not sure. And it's up to us to really, like, when I look at my staff, I'm like, all right, I know this coach can do this coach can't do this, but how can I help them get to somewhere higher? And it's really, really difficult to do, but once you do it, once you're a little bit here and there, you're like, all right, I'm letting go, and then you're all right.
Yep, hey, listen, we get some hot fire, some nuggets dropped on us. We're going to take our last break of the night. Foul, pay this, the last bills we got to, because I'm going to talk to my guys, because I'm not going to let Coach beat me. I'm about to win this game tonight. So, Foul, let's pay some bills. We'll be right back. Coach Tony and my guest, Coach Hernando Planells, on the Pull Up Podcast Show. We'll be right back. Hey, it's your main man, right back at you, coming live here from the Rise Studios. And it's your guy talking about what? Pull Up Podcast Show. What is the Pull Up Podcast Show? It's a brand new podcast hitting your airways nationwide, talking everything on sports, from baseball, basketball, hockey, and then I tell you, we're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure, if you want your questions answered, you want to have fun talking a lot of sports, make sure you pull up on me, because it's the Pull Up Podcast Show.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up.
Also, for those that want to learn a little bit more about this right here, oh yeah, that right there, that's the Rise, NIL, talking name, image, and likeness. Those having opportunities, getting paid, you want to tune in to it.
Sports show, let's go. It's the Pull Up Podcast show. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Let's go.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show with your main man, the one and only Coach Tony. By the way, Coach H, that my little nephew dropped that track for me right there, man. The Pull Up Podcast. Hey, we be banging on that.
I was like, all right, come on now. I love it.
Hey, if you guys got any questions, trust me, fourth quarter, man, this is the time to get it in. I got my guy, Coach Pratt, Coach Justin. I know Mark's going to ask a couple of questions, all that. Let's do a quick pivot. Let's talk about the NBA basketball school. I need to, if I'm right, I need to get some stuff that I want to make sure I'm clear on. I know that President Barack Obama had a lot to do with the ABL, with the African Basketball League and all that, and getting that. His hands are really entrenched in that. Condoleezza Rice dealing with the NCAA. It's amazing how these politicians are getting in sports and basketball, isn't it? Yeah. But looking at the NBA basketball school and all that, how is that tiered out? Why did you take that opportunity, and where is it going in the future?
Yeah, I mean, NBA basketball school is becoming a huge initiative for the NBA. I think, like any major brand, they I don't want to say sell a product, but they have a product, and that's NBA basketball. But through NBA basketball, they have other different initiatives, whether it's reaching out to communities, the Basketball Africa League, things like that. And really about the NBA basketball school, there's now about 16, I believe 17 around the world. We're the largest one in Dubai, 450 athletes, 15, 14 coaches I have. And it was one of those things I was working in production. I was working in sports production. I was working on a TV show, Netflix show that's going to come out next month called Running Point. A little plug for a show.
Nice.
but I was on there. I get a phone call from the NBA and said, hey, you know what? We got a technical director job open. They told me about Dubai, and I took it because I really thought I was done with coaching basketball altogether. But I think
really,
yeah, I really wanted. I loved being able to have my freedom in sports production to spend time with my kids. I think I remember my kids are old. They're 24 and 21, but they still want to hang out with their old man. They want to do that. Then I had to do whatever it took.
Right.
But went to Dubai and I love it. I love it. I still go back and forth from the States. As you know, I'm in Miami right now doing a commercial, and I just felt like what would it look like to go to Dubai? But I also believe, and this goes to your point about networking, talking to people, you just got to take the opportunity, right? Like, I took a pay cut. I'm in another country, but when you take an opportunity, you don't know where that's going to lead you. And it was the same thing when I got offered the job at the University of Illinois. It's the same thing that when I got offered the job in Dubai, I sit in my living room and I pace back and forth, and I have like this running dialogue with God. I don't bring faith, but it's more like, are you serious, God? You want me to walk through this door? I remember I was like, I don't want to go to Champaign, Illinois. Why should I go to Champaign, Illinois? Yeah. I was like, why do I got to go to Dubai for a basketball leadership position? And then as always, I do that for about 10, 15 minutes. And he's probably just sitting there like, all right, you done? I sat down.
Because he's like, I already know the answer. I'm just waiting for you to catch up.
He's like, I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm going, and got to Dubai. And, you watch videos, people have like pet tigers while they're driving. There's a pet tiger.
Crazy. Like iguanas, they're big as like 17-foot iguanas, man. Like, what is that?
They're there, but man, I drive a Kia in Dubai. All right, let me let this straight. I can drive a Kia.
Hey, that's because you're keeping it real.
Yeah. So, but it's just a great experience overall. I just took 9 players to Paris. There was the Paris game. Spurs played
the Paris game
from there, and so we're just giving experience to these people. But I will say, parents are parents, no matter where you are in the world, no matter where it is, States, overseas. They want the best for their baby, and I get it. And we're doing the best we can. But ultimately, we're giving them a great NBA experience with it, and it's really given me a chance to empower my coaches, which they're just amazing people, and just get to know the different players. But I think ultimately it's a great way to impact lives. I know that sounds such a coaching cliche, but when you're away from coaching, when you're away from young people, there's a little joy that leaves you, right? Because we get as we're adults, this childlike enthusiasm, joy that we have kind of gets, I don't want to say taken away, but it just happens during life. And being around people brings the best out of you. So, I really feel like right now I'm in the best time of my life. It's the only time I have in my life. And it's about time to continue to make the best out of it and still do all the different things that God's blessed me to be able to do, and hopefully along the way build some great relationships.
I say, man, I already told you, man, you about to put me on staff because I'm coming. I told you, I'm doing one of the camps, man. I've been trying to get to Dubai anyway, but I'm definitely doing the camp. If Travis McAfee keeps me south of the border in Mexico area in South America, I definitely got to get with you, and do something. But it's amazing. And you are 100% correct, because I smile. I got a kid that's associate head coach at Virginia Tech. A couple other kids are doing some big major things, still in D1, D2, NAIA basketball, high school ball. The biggest smile I had on my face, to correlate what you're saying, is 3 years ago, Coach, right in the midst of the pandemic as we were going. I was right here in Nashville, and the high school district championship game came down to the Final Four, and all 4 high school coaches played for me. Now, that made me feel, man, and we took a picture. Of course, I couldn't take sides, but I sit in the stands, man, and I said, wow, I must have done my job correctly, because I got 4 kids. not one, not two, not three, but the semifinal game is all 4 head coaches that played under my tutelage, and they all wanted to coach it. And they're doing very good for themselves. One's now moved up to NAI, and two is in high school, and the other one's in Major D1. So it's incredible. And when you look at that, and the NBA has finally opened a door. The NBA actually has taught the NFL how to go abroad, because we being the NBA, was already playing games in London, playing games in Paris, playing games south of the border, the whole 9 yards. And then now, if you notice, Coach, the NFL, it does what? They're bringing the football to Mexico, to England, to Paris. They're trying to do the same thing and globalize what the NFL brand is doing. But the NBA is so there. The question I got for you, which is the crazy, and it's coming up. How in the hell can the NBA fix the All-Star game? Because the brand is losing to college basketball in the WNBA by only one weekend, and that is the All-Star weekend. They've got to fix that. What's your suggestions on that?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to fix it. Listen, I think it's one of those things. All right, and I'm not diminishing anybody's value whatsoever.
Right.
But if McDonald's has been serving the same cheeseburger
right.
for 40, 50 years, and people still buying over and over again.
Correct.
Right? And it's the same thing with the NBA. Now they're trying, right? There's like they put that's why they have the Emirates Cup. They have all these different things. But the reality is there is a perception the All-Star game has gone down. Now that is for one part of the generation. Our generation. The younger folks, they be loving it. They love it. They love it.
Because you know why? Because they want to go to their local park or their local freaking gym, and they want to take a step across half court and shoot the damn ball when they know they can't shoot threes. That's why. And you and I are used to that 80s, in your face, BS around 3/4, but the 4th quarter, baby, we're going to get out of business because it's basketball time. It's time to play ball. Now, I do like the incentives. They put, I think $100,000, $200,000 on the game, and they made it so now the guys are incentivized in order to play harder. But I love when they interviewed, it was Dominique Wilkins, old vet, and Reggie Miller. Says, why do I need to incentivize me that type of money and make me play the game that I already love? That's why I am an all-star. You don't see the baseball players doing it, right? They have Friday night, like you just said, Coach, like McDonald's and the cheeseburger. On Friday night, you're getting a home run derby, period. And it don't matter if you throw the ball underhand, overhand, it's the home run derby. But on Saturday or Sunday, that all-star game, we balling, we playing because it's baseball. The NBA got to figure out how to get back to that level.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think, though, when it comes to international basketball and when you think of like a global brand, I don't think they see it as the way that us generational folk, see it. They just don't, because of the notoriety. There's more sponsorship money. There's more TV, more than ever. Okay. And in many ways, it's more like, all right, so what do we really need to change? Yes, there's less competitive. Yes, they're doing all these different, and yes, Reggie Miller and Dominique Wilkins are talking about why should they make money. But they grew up in a different era, and they grew up in different neighborhoods than a lot of NBA players today. Like, nobody talks about this, but there's a lot of NBA players who grew up in the suburbs. All right.
They act like they from the hood, but they not, because your mom and daddy got you out.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to jump in here, and I see I was muted, so I made sure I take care of this. You asked your players toward the end of the year what they were looking forward to, and I was trying to play that. Let me go ahead and see if I can do that right now from your Instagram. Let me go ahead and share that.
With my school team, and to be able to study better and work harder.
That's what I'm talking about, man. All right, what is your New Year's resolution for 2025? My New Year's resolution for 2025 is to work on my confidence and my decision making in the game.
Boom.
My New Year's resolution is to work on my shooting.
And not fall on the ground. What is your New Year's resolution for 2025?
I want to have a better mindset when I'm playing basketball.
What is your New Year's resolution for 2025?
Dribbling. I want to become better at dribbling.
Oh, yeah, and you will. Better ball handling.
My New Year's resolution is to play together as a team with my own team and with my school team, and to be able to study better and work harder.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome. And the funny part about that, Coach H, I'm at that type of school, right? Yeah. I tell my girls, even though we're not playing well, this will make you really proud. We just won the state of Tennessee highest academic achievement award for athletic basketball program for the school with an average GPA of 3.947.
Wow.
So I got a girl on my team that's getting ready to go to Notre Dame. I got one that's looking at USC, UCLA. Got one that's going to St. Bonnie. Got one that's getting ready to go to Yale. So I got that type of athletes on my team. And I know I scream at them because I want better the way they do on the floor. But I don't have those type of athletes yet. And it's crazy. So, man, I'm telling you, to have you part of my network for so long, and me and you to be connected, I'm just glad I ran you down. Like, I told Val, she's like, who you got? I said, no, I'm getting Hernando. I don't care what he said.
Yeah, he did.
Val don't know. I'm texting him last week, Val. He over in Dubai. I'm like, hey, look, I don't care what time it is.
Well,
figure it out. Let's get on the show.
So I had
to come on. I was like, we'll make it work.
Thank you so very much. But we need to have you on the entertainment podcast because you had mentioned something, and I was doing some research right in the background. You are going to have this Running Point supposed to be coming out. Is this the correct film that's coming out next month?
I have no idea what you said, but there's a graphic.
The Running Points. She was talking about the Running Points for the film that you're working on out of Netflix. Is that set to release next month?
Yeah, that's going to come out with Kate Hudson, and we did all the basketball choreography and
Kate Hudson. Okay,
the actors and everything else. Yeah, so that's going to be the one. It's basically a story about how Kate Hudson is almost like it's loosely based on Jeannie Buss, one of the owners of the Lakers. So
okay,
first woman running a professional basketball franchise and everything else.
Yeah, so we would like to.
It's like the Lakers dynasty that was on Hulu.
Yeah.
So Winning Time was real, right? Well, that's what they're saying is real, and this one is more of a fictional character with it. But yeah, it's a team called the LA Waves in a league, and just her journey on being a woman in a man's world.
Man, that's awesome. They chose you to be a part
Coach,
of
can we have him?
Been good.
Can we have him on the Talk on Tuesday next month when it's about to come out?
Oh yeah, man, I forgot. Coach H, man, we do, besides me on the pull up, because just me and you playing 1-on-1 in the backyard right here, on Tuesday nights, man, we do the entertainment side of the house called Interludes Talk on Tuesday, where we do more of the music entertainment side of the house. Because by the way, Coach H on the side, they don't know, but I'm a hell of a DJ, man. I still put them hands on the wax, man. Hey, I saw Magic. I figured if Magic could do it, I could do it, man.
That's right. No, that is so right. I love it, man.
Hey, man, this is awesome. I appreciate you. We'll definitely. I already told you I'm gonna be in touch. I definitely want to sit down. I plan on clearing out my entire schedule. I know, I got to get you. Want to be a part of the camp. Want to be, make some moves, do some things, and all that this summer, spring. So we'll be in touch. But Val, you have any last questions at all?
Oh no, I just want you to come back to the Talk on Tuesdays to talk about the film with Kate Hudson and how you guys did the basketball coordinating for the film. That'll be fun to know how that all went.
Hey, so I'm gonna give you one, Coach H, and you're gonna be able to use this. This is funny. So we're playing golf here in Nashville one day, beautiful skies. This dude locks in with us, plays golf. We got a threesome going on. And we get about 8, 9 holes in. And the guy says, man, I really like you guys. I'm like, okay. I said, what's that all about? He said, you didn't recognize who I was or who I am. And we're like, okay. Me and my boy looking at each other, smoking cigars, like, now I don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah.
You know? And he says, you ever heard of the show Nashville? I go, yeah. You remember the show that came on Nashville?
Yeah.
So he said, you know who Kate Hudson is? I go, yeah. He said, I'm her brother, Oliver Hudson. Get the hell out. So we played half a golf game with Oliver Hudson. End up great, exchanged numbers, been keeping in touch with him. So that's funny. So when you talk to Kate, let her know, man, my guy, Coach Tony, bumped into your brother Oliver down in Nashville a couple years ago doing the Nashville series when it was on TV, man. Cool guy, real cool.
No, it was great. She's, I mean, obviously a professional, but really she's just great to be around and kept the whole just vibe of the set just free flowing and everything else. So it's amazing when you are watching someone who is an expert in their field just do work, just come in, do the lines, but have this sheer joy in everything that she does.
Man, any last words, Coach? If you want to leave anybody, if you're talking to a camp right now, group of kids, group of whatever, what's the last word? What's the last message you want to leave everybody?
You know, I hate to be sappy, but I mean, just love, you know, like it's, I think too many of us have gone now where we're like, we're in a mode where we're complaining about everything. And it's just the nature of the country, but it's also the nature of the world. And we have kind of lost that we just got to love just waking up in the morning, like love. You may not love your job, but just saying it, right? The power of words, you know, Tony, you're a coach, right? The power of words goes so much. And over time, it is true. Like we make fun that our old people, that our elders are more grumpy and they're just sour on stuff. And it's like, but we don't have to be like that. Like we could really grow up, get older and be like, you know what? Life was hard, but shoot. Everything is difficult and everything else. You know, we didn't get the breaks we thought we were going to, but that's not the path we were supposed to be on. Too many of us are not accepting the fact. Now, that doesn't mean you push yourself to other levels. It just means that, you know what is going on in my life that another door isn't opening. And I say this all the time. When I was younger, I wanted to coach in the Euro League. I didn't coach in the Euro League. I coach in Asia. I wanted to go ahead, be a high-level men's basketball coach. Wasn't. I was a high-level women's basketball coach. I want to be in the NBA. I wasn't. I was in the G League, and I run an NBA basketball school. I wanted to be in front of the camera as an actor. You know, so it's like, but I'm okay with it because you know what? That's the path that I was supposed to be on, but I know I'm pushing. So just love, keep pushing with what you're doing, and really follow the advice that you would give others, and keep getting yourself better.
Man, I like that. And that's a logo by itself. Love and keep pushing. I think I'm gonna put that on the back of my shirt, Val, at some particular point, you know. But hey, thank you for coming through. You know, this logo right here, the Rise logo right here, Coach H, this is important to me, man, because this is my baby. This is the Rise NIL, where I work with a lot of those kids that are coming up to you while they're at that underline in Division I, Division II program. We work with brands. So I work with the Rise. This is my sports marketing firm where we kind of couple that together. Take the brands that's looking for the athlete to push the product. We take the athletes that's looking for the brand to wear. And we mirror those two together and kind of give them a happy home. So if you want to learn a little bit more about how you can take advantage of the NIL world, please come out and see me at the Rise, RIZENIL.com. And what you and I were talking about tomorrow night, that's the show that Val and I do on the music and entertainment side of the house called Interludes Talk on Tuesday. And Val has had an opportunity the last few months, over the last year, Coach H, to put together a book called A DJ saved my life. Val, tell them about the book.
It is my personal journey during the pandemic on how becoming a podcaster and a virtual DJ saved my literal life. And so scan the QR code and find out some more stuff about it. And of course, you can get merch. I'm excited about the merch that you can get with the logo of A DJ Saved My Life, and learn a little bit more at purelighthouse.media.net to order the book. On tomorrow, we're back with our entertainment side of things. And of course, it is Grammy Week in Los Angeles, your hometown, Coach H. We're going to be talking about the honors that's going to be happening posthumously to Frankie Beverly, who we unfortunately lost last year, and Prince a couple of years ago. And of course, Kurt Franklin and a few others. It's Grammy Week in Los Angeles, and I'm grateful that they'll be changing a lot of their programs to help folks who have lost their homes in the LA fires, unfortunately. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about it on tomorrow night. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is good. And Coach H, man, I hope no family, no friends, no one you know in that Los Angeles area. My homeboy's up in Malibu. He told me he's good, but he's fearful of possible mudslides, which we just saw. The rains came in this morning and yesterday, and they are having some mudslide issues going on. So, and Cali's getting hit hard right now, man. So we just send out our hearts and blessings to you guys on that West Coast.
Yeah. It's crazy just watching all the different neighborhoods I know of and driven by, and I've had a few friends in production have lost everything. A couple of childhood friends actually lost everything. So it's one of those things, like, what do you say? It's so hard. You just support them and pray for them, and just know that things will get better. Not sure how it will, but how it looks like, but just sending my prayers and heart to them.
Man, I appreciate you. Mark says, my homeboy in North Kakalaka said, man, Coach Tony, another great show, baby. We know how we do it, but we got to get up out of here like last year. So you know my favorite words, Val. Thank you, Coach H. This is Coach Tony in the Pull Up Podcast Show, and all important, my roadie right here, Val the Voice. But you know my words. Peace, and I'm out.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast.